How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Filmography Fridays. Paul W.S. Anderson. Year's 1994. This is his debut movie, Shopping. I know we did that a little bit out of order. My apologies. Also, I noticed that I didn't have anything to represent Paul W.S. Anderson's movie, Shopping. So I have a Biohazard candy wrapper here. He did Resident Evil. I don't know. Hey, if that's not enough, I got a receipt. Shopping.
I'm a shopaholic, I'm a shopaholic, and I'm out of control. I'm a shopaholic, I'm a shopaholic, I'm a shopaholic, and I'm out of control. I'm a shopaholic, better take away my wallet. Nothing in my pocket, and I'm out on a roll.
The first 16 minutes of this movie are a fucking mess and a half, guys. Like, a mess and a half. The more you get into it, the more suspension of disbelief I personally built throughout this. It got a little bit better and then got dumber. The beginning, and this is the only time I'm going to say this, the beginning had a very good choice of music. Once again, the only time I'm going to compliment the music choice in this. It had a good choice of music as far as scenery, and the blend of the two really were well done. Really nice cityscape, really nice music shot. I think I wind up talking about that a lot. I like that style cinematography. I like the quick cuts and hustle bustle of a city. The only problem is it goes a little too long, but that also is remedied by quick cutting right to Jude Law, which I thought was a really nice touch. Jude Law is the main character in this. He plays a guy named Billy. He's really not that good as far as performance-wise. He's very... I'll do Jude Law's impersonation in this right now. Let's go do some crazy shit. I added a little flair at the end, too. That would not have happened. He is so... a plank, but with emotion. Not even real emotion, cheap emotion. This movie thinks it's pretty clever with some of their imagery, which I'm assuming is supposed to be like a nice little, like, aha moment, or a subtle, like, subtle picture that would make you go, oh, I get it. No, it's not done well at all. The perfect thing to show this is in the parking lot, there's this paint on the ground that says no parking, which you see frequently. And what does the person picking up Jude Law do, who we find out is Joe? Pulls right onto the fucking no parking. You're so clever. It just feels forced. It feels silly. It feels ridiculous. It feels like they're doing it just to be like, they're bad. They're bad. And it's just, how many times do you have to punch me in the face and say they're bad before I get that they're fucking bad, or they're doing what they're not supposed to? Now, right after that, while they're in the car, Billy and Joe are talking to each other, and he has these candy hearts, which I guess he bought on the way out at the gift shop. Bought something else there later, too, which makes no fucking sense to me. Fucking cassette tape. Where did that come? You just got out of prison. Was that what you got taken in with? This was a really nice scene. I like the heart candy scene. It's actually nice if you don't tie any logic to it and you just take it for what it is and just look at it as a scene. I really like it. He gives her the be mine after he gets out and she picks him up, and it's like, oh, okay, these two are gonna get together. But then she asks him, like, so what do you want to do? And he just pulls out another heart, and on it it just says, chase me. Unless hearts don't have that, I don't get candy hearts, because I'm not in, like, elementary school anymore. But if they say chase me, that's a really clever scene. If not, then that scene fails. Billy and Joe steal a BMW and give the victim the old keys of the car, and I really like this scene, because the way they even get him out of the car in the first place to do so is they just ram him with the car they have previously had. They just ram him, which was also stolen, if I remember correctly. And the guy gets out to yell at them / collect information, as you would do. Both of them deserve it. And basically, he goes to do so, and while he's doing that, they already are in his car. There's a lot of warping moments in this, where our main characters are just, okay, they were in here, boom, they're there. Wait, what, are we, they make a left turn at Albuquerque? What the fuck? Are they Bugs fucking Bunny? Yeah, I really like that scene. I like how they get him out. I like the thought process behind them doing their jobs. The actual job doing is really fun in this movie. I really like that. I'm going to say a lot of positives about this, because there's still a lot to like, even in bad movies, but this was a bad movie. While in the car, I mentioned it before, he pulls out the cassette tape. Where the fuck did he get this cassette tape from? Plops it in, everything's cool. What I don't like is how the guy, the German guy who got the BMW stolen, who had connections which never come back, don't even have him say that then, but he gets the old keys for their car, and he just throws them out of anger, and it's like, I guess people do it, but it's fucking pointless in the movie. Realism does not equate to a good movie, so don't, unless it's completely necessary to not take the audience out, don't include it. don't put the guy throwing his keys and then having to go get them. Was it supposed to be funny? Because it wasn't funny. How dare you throw away Ferrero Rochers and fucking call them yuppie food? I am almost dirt poor, good sir, and I love me a Ferrero Rocher. They are golden balls of delicious in heaven. There's some things in this movie that had some nice commentary. I really like the concept of they're going through the guy's wallet in the BMW and they just throw the shit out the window and it's just, what happened? And it doesn't have any cash. Do people not have cash anymore? Like, that's a good line. That's a fair point. We're coming more and more into a digital age. Paperless, paperless, paperless. This is more so now than ever a very clever message to input into your movie. It doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the movie. Jude Law, I mentioned his acting, or lack thereof in this case. The character, just because he's not doing a good performance, I don't think that really suffers on the character. I think the character's supposed to be sort of bland and naive and almost immature and young mentally. And he has this doughy-eyed look that just really works with that. I just love how he instantly gets out and then just goes on this spree with Joe, ramming into shops, which is shopping, by the way, ramming into shops and grabbing as much as you can before booking it out and getting chased by the police. Which is their idea of fun. They're adrenaline junkies, and I really like... That's a great idea. I really like that idea. That's a great idea for a plot of a movie. The execution leaves a lot to be desired. The best scene showing how naive and young and immature and an adrenaline junkie, you could show both of those in one scene, and it's the... he laughs after pegging the spray can at the cop car. This is right after Joe steals the glasses, which I really like, too. Pointless. No need for it. I'm going to bring up a couple things in a second. I like that Jude Law gets upset when a slower police vehicle shows up. I think the line, I don't remember what it was. It's all because he wants the adrenaline. You send, like, a transit van. The police sent a transit van to a car chase. That's what it was. I like all the stuff that Jude Law's doing with his crazy attitude, and it all pans out to a nice character. The only problem is the character should be in jail again in a week, because the first thing he does is try to outrun the cops, but gives them tons of evidence. There's fingerprints everywhere, and even if this was a time where forensics wasn't a big thing, you've shown your face. You visibly have shown them your face. You and Joe both. You do it all the time. And then the cop comes in later in a scene and tries to interrogate him, and it's like, I'm gonna get you. You already did! What? And you could argue maybe they don't wear masks to protect their face because that would stop the amount of adrenaline they'll still get adrenaline from that. A mask wouldn't prevent it. You're not going to not get caught. If you get pulled over, you're still fucked. You're being chased. That's the adrenaline pumper. A mask doesn't change that. If anything, it lets you get away with more potential crimes. And then later on, you see him meet up with this group of people, almost like a drag racing spot where everyone talks about their crimes. Is that a thing? I don't know. Maybe it's just a gang meeting in an alley. I have no fucking idea. I don't think he was a racer. Although then again, the way he's fucking racing around, he's talented, so maybe he is. I don't know. One of the things that really bothered me, and this was just a technical error, the chopper sound. The chopper sound, it literally, you hear it very, very faint for like a good second. Like, that boom was the spotlight. So you're gonna tell me this warped in? Like, it wasn't enough of a transition. You couldn't hear it. It was really quick. Those things are fucking loud, man. And trust me, I get it. I get that it would ruin the surprise. It wouldn't be a surprising moment for both them in the scene and the audience. But then again, it wouldn't have taken me out of the movie. And that was just the first, like, 15, 16 minutes. Everything you just heard was just the first 15, 16 minutes. Fucking... The saddest part about all this is probably Paul W.S. Anderson's best movie that I've personally seen and can remember. I don't remember Event Horizon. I'm gonna guess it was shit. Why is this guy still fucking directing? He's got another Resident Evil movie coming. In theaters. He didn't even get the straight-to-DVD treatment. He's still in movie theaters. Let that one fucking sink in. The relationships in this are the only interesting part of this movie. Billy and his dad, which doesn't have a lot of development. Billy and Joe. Billy and Tommy. That's all this movie is relationships and interactions, which, that's not the point of the movie. The point of the movie is shopping. The point of the movie is the crime. That's at least what they're trying to get out right away. That's what I got at first. Which is sad, because the whole setup is an action setup. Billy's apparently a big fan of Star Wars. He has a lot of stolen Star Wars merchandise in his, van, as he calls it. A van down by the river! Oh my god, I think he actually did live in a van down by the river. Now, if you know anything about Doctor Who, which I'm a big fan of, I love Doctor Who. As you can tell, my doctor's back there. There's an actor, I believe his name was John Pertwee, who played the Third Doctor. I instantly perked up when I saw that the guy playing the villain in this was named Sean Pertwee, and has the legit closest look possible. I'm gonna assume they're related. The Pertwees are a great acting family. That's all I'm getting out of this. But he was really good in this. He played Tommy the villain. I mentioned his name earlier. And Tommy, as a character, is shades of almost Toe Cutter from Mad Max. He's just very, very deliciously evil, and everything he does is dictated in a very slow and weird-moving fashion. And he'll get in and intense and almost Kaa from Jungle Book-like with what he's saying. All while simultaneously holding his nuts and picking at random areas he probably shouldn't have. But it's the perfect balance of just, like, you are so uncouth while still being fucking suave, I guess is the word I'm looking for. The one problem, I love him. I love Tommy. His henchmen are horrible. Some of the worst extras I've ever seen. There is a line in this movie, and if I'm misquoting this, it's only by this much. The line is, and I shit you not, "Let's do crime!" The only solace in that scene is Tommy's response to him, which is, "Shut the fuck up!" Which is exactly what the audience is thinking at that point. Following that whole "let's do crime" scene, the place they're getting in the car to go to is the police station so they can bat, with metal bats nonetheless, bat the shit out of the police cars. Take care of some of the competition, as Tommy puts it. And I really like this, because while they're doing that, you see Billy and Joe and that group of people in a party, and they just intercut a party which is just organized chaos, positive chaos, arguably. In some cases it could be negative, but arguably it's like a stress relief chaos versus another stress relief chaos, but that one is extremely negative, and it's just them bashing the police cars, and they go really well together. In the streets on the way back from that drinking thing with Joe, he's coming home, and he's doing this adrenaline junkie thing where he's just standing in the streets and letting cars dodge him, and if they don't, he's dead. And Joe's just, "What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?" Rightfully, what the fuck are you... Seriously, what the fuck are you doing? But not what I'm trying to say here. They make this scene basically seem like the point where Joe wants to split off. She starts seeing the negatives to Billy. No, none of this pans out. I mentioned it. The cop visiting Billy is pointless. They should have metric fuck tons of evidence by this point. But they don't. Because you don't do it right then and there. You can't just go, "I saw your face. We know it's you." And even if it's like, okay, you don't have like evidence, there's cameras and shit where they're fucking doing these hits and they're not wearing masks. And later on, to avoid the whole fucking, well, maybe they just don't have masks. To avoid that, they fucking have masks later as two friends put on masks. They're intelligent. This is why they weren't in jail and you were. Now here's one of the biggest wastes in this movie. Sean Bean is in this movie. Don't worry, we don't have a Sean Bean dies alert just yet, because he's not in this movie for more than 2 minutes. He's really young in this movie. That's the weird part, is I really wanted to see what he could do. No, you don't get to. He out-villains the villain, making the villain, Tommy, look like a complete bitch, and then doesn't show up again. The idea of that scene was just to set up how much Tommy needed to go to the Alaska, but you could have done that 1,000 other ways without introducing a major actor. Pure chaos of the mall scene was really well done with Billy and Joe when they undercut Tommy and go before he was supposed to go and just hit the mall and just ravage it. "You ain't getting nothing, Tommy." And his reaction is fair, and he's supposed to be like the leader of the street, so this is a really good scene for multiple reasons. You see Tommy's brattiness. Is that a word? You have Joe's inability to say no to Billy. You have Billy being the young, naive, immature, mentally bad idea guy. You have everything. The cops are extremely incompetent multiple times in this movie. It makes you almost feel sorry for them. It really does. You see them getting pegged with stuff and bleeding out of his head. That was brutal. In that exact scene, you see somebody like file cabinet their police car and then Molotov cocktail it. Remind me why you don't want guns? We don't need guns on the street. They have them anyway. What the fuck? It gets back to Tommy that Billy hit the Alaska before him, and he basically vows to I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill that son of a bitch. Billy going back to just give his dad the stolen cigarettes is a good fuck you, but it was ultimately pointless and slowed down the plot, and I didn't like it. That's all I'm really gonna say about that, because honestly there's so many negative things that I'm probably gonna wind up cutting out of this review that that'll probably be one of them. And if not, then good, because that's something that pissed me off. Tommy and a bunch of cars with his gang pull up, and it's just during this perfect scene of pure tranquility, pure peace, pure bliss from both Billy and Joe, where Joe's just drinking tea with Billy, who she gets kicks out of. This exact line, her line, not mine. But, they're just drinking tea together, looking up at the sky. I have everything I need. I just got my new tea kettle. Hey, look at that. But they're just drinking tea, everything's cool, everything's normal. And then the vans pull up and just start pure chaos. They literally, Tommy literally invades his happiness. After school, I would park a car, I would steal, I would just leave it there, and I would be the only kid to drive home. Do you understand what that feels like? I was a fucking hero. I felt like somebody. That's a bit of a cliche of a line. Doesn't do it for me. But everything else, I get what he's saying. I get the sentiment. You just didn't have to use those exact words. Billy, during the basketball court talk with Tommy, says the line after... Well, first of all, let's get to this. Tommy, being a gentleman that he is, I was gonna kill you, bro, but you know what? I'll let that be bygones. Just let me hit this new one that you're hitting. This mall that nobody's ever touched before. Let me do that with you. It's too big for you to do alone anyway. So let me do it. Which, that only makes sense. That only makes sense and is an actual out for our character. But no, he doesn't take it. No, that's stupid. That'd be dumb. He tells him, I'll tell you tomorrow, which is the most obvious lie in the world, to which Tommy responds, as long as you tell me yes. I love that line. Great line, response-wise, not, I'll tell you tomorrow. No. They even call him out on it. Do you really think he's gonna do? I think he's gonna hit it tonight. That's why I'm gonna call the police. Yeah, Tommy calls the fucking police, of all people. He calls the chief specifically, and the chief sets up this whole blockade there. They're all getting ready to ram into it when the lights click on, and the two friends, both Bebop and, I forgot the other kid's name, FBI Jacket Kid, they both die, which is the most depressing part of this to me. At least it looked like they were dead, I couldn't necessarily tell. I'm assuming they were. They zoom in on the eyes, no blinking, nothing, it's just dead. Now, Joe... goes to Tommy before this big thing and just says, don't do it, don't. Which was arguably what the whole setup was for before. The whole, like, Joe's gonna get away, Joe's gonna be good, she still loves him and stuff, so she's gonna try and take him with him. This all makes sense. And then no, he convinces her for one last one. Do one last one with me. And she stupidly gets convinced, and it's so unrelatable. It's a bad decision. You know what you're doing is a bad decision. It doesn't seem plausible that you instantly just get convinced. It's not even a convincing thing. She should have just left, or they shouldn't have had that entire pointless thing of, is she gonna leave? Is she gonna stay? Is she gonna leave? Is she gonna stay? It was all entirely pointless, and it didn't feel like an actual thing. It felt like the character that should have gotten away and should have actually just let him do it and die. That felt more poetic to me. The one thing I like out of this entire scene is the line, there could be anything down there. And then Billy responds with, Joe, that's the fun of it. That's a good line. That just shows you, he's batshit insane. Now, cutting to Tommy, sinking the basket back at that basketball court as the helicopter flies over. Bye-bye, Billy. That was really sinking the basket. That was what you were going with here? Fuck you, guy. Fuck you. This is the thing that pisses me off about Billy. He's, as he said, the fucking hero, the king. It's what he's trying to be. Yet he crashes by playing a game of chicken. He makes it pass. It's a great moment. And then he's just, yeah, I'm driving, but I'm gonna look away. What? You're the best, man. You're supposed to be a great driver. I've seen you do things normal people can't. You're gonna tell me you lose by taking your eyes off the road? Something they teach you in driver's ed? You've been driving since you were a fucking kid and you shouldn't have been. I don't believe that. I feel like that's the dumbest mistake for a pro to make. And it's just, if that's the intent, fine, but then I don't like that either. His own hubris, I'm a genius at writing. Little error here that bothered me. This is just something I want to mention, see if maybe someone else has an answer for it. They're zooming in, and I do like this scene. This is nice, but you see the crash, the wreck. Don't know if Joe's alive or dead. I think she might arguably be dead, which is depressing to me. I really loved her character. Billy, who he's crashed, he's in this wreck, and he's looking up at the shopping mannequin, who's just glass-eyed. Obviously, they don't blink, but it's just panning back and forth between the two, and I really, really like that. And Billy realizes he's fucked. He's going back to jail. They make sure to show he's alive. I like that point. That was a nice point to show, because honestly, jail's probably worse than death for this man. He just played chicken. That shows it right there. In that wreck with that mannequin, there's this big glass window. They didn't manage to break it, and through the reflection of it, you see fire, which you assume is coming from the wrecked car. But when they pan down the car, you don't see any fire, so, confused. Maybe it was the angle? It's plausible it's just the angle, but then maybe don't do the pan that way. I do like that as they pan down the car, though, you have all these cops coming and surrounding the car. That's a very nice way to end the movie. It's what Billy didn't want is literally what he's getting. What Joe didn't want is literally what she's getting. What Tommy didn't want, to a degree, he kind of got, actually. Now, the villain kind of won in this movie. Holy shit. Weird. You got him off the street, so I'm gonna go sell some coats to Sean Bean that I'll probably stab in the back at one point. The end music that you have during the car crash is very slow, melodic piano music. Very, very fitting for what this ending was. And they could have just used that to transition off into the credits, but no. They have this harsh, fucking clashing, disgusting... I love metal, I love guitar, I love it. It does not work here at all. It was literally very beautiful, calm, serene moment, very, very take-it-in moment, followed by... So yeah, you could pretty much surmise that I did not enjoy this movie. Real quick, I just want to get into a couple of fun things I've learned about this. Yeah, I did my research on this one, too. Hours I can't get back in my life. Tommy's tattoo on his right arm apparently translates to the word robber. Good job, art department. Ewan McGregor almost played Billy. The movie, when it first came out, was panned in the UK for glorifying, basically, criminal behavior, which, it does. It does. Now, if this movie's message was crime pays, but it's not worth it, could have done that better. New Line Cinema, I don't know what it was, saw this movie and said, this guy, this director, this guy right here, he's gonna do the Mortal Kombat movie. He's gonna play that for audiences, and they're all gonna love it. Maybe it's due to the fact that there was a fatality at the end of this movie. That's the smallest conclusion I can draw. And the final thing I want to bring up is all actors had extensive stunt driving training done due to this role. So Jude Law. At least out of this, you got potential action movies later you can do. I don't know. There's got to be some silver lining here for that. And on that note, I think we're going to end it. Thank you for joining us this week for Filmography Fridays. Unfortunately, we're doing W.S. Anderson. Apologize. Yeah, go ahead and click the description info down there. You can see what we're doing next week. Most likely, I think it's going to be Event Horizon. I'm pretty sure that's the next in line. And Lawrence Fishburne, yay, we get something good. Oh yeah, Jude Law. Oh god, please don't tell me Lawrence Fishburne's gonna be fucking horrible in Event Horizon. See you next week. We appreciate you joining us. I've been the JJ, and thank you. So I tweeted, this is totally irrelevant from the review, might not even go into it. I tweeted Shout Factory TV, because I was watching some Sentai, and I was like, yo, I love Sentai, I would really love Sentai subs, can you totally do it so I could bomb my money on it? And they just favorited it. First of all, it's a day later. They just favorited it, and I just noticed Sentai autocorrected to Senator, so they just favorited, yo, could you totally get more Senator subs? Do you have a show called Senator?